Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to, what is it called? It's called Two G's Podcast, if I'm right. Good afternoon. I just want to get out here again today. Today has been one of those days that you sit back and reflect. And as you reflect on the things that has happened in the past, you find yourself at a point where you just want to kind of set the record straight a little bit. Kind of set the record straight and just let people know that it's not the end of days right now. It's just some changing times that we got to go through. And so many times we get out here and people like me, which have an opinion, we get out here and we say some things and when we're saying it, nobody really listens, or they don't want to listen. And when they listen, they want to hear another side of the story. Well, today, I'm not out here to try to bash nobody, but I'm out here to kind of help people understand what we wanted and what we look for and what we try to do over here. Try to tell a story. We don't try to get in between and put as much of our opinion in it or do anything like that. What we try to do is just let you have an opportunity to express yourself. And the last time I did a show like this was about 2 or 3 days ago. And the last time I did a show like that, I was having problems. And I was able to get it resolved to a point where I could save part of the videos and just do the shorts on it. So I decided, I went to get my hair cut today, and I was sitting there talking to the guys in the barbershop, and that's what got me on this show today. It really did, because a lot of them were saying how disappointed they was with what's going on in the media, and they can't believe half of what's out there, and how could this happen to our country when we're supposed to be one of the greatest countries that's in America right now. We're still, and like I explained to them, we're still the greatest country in America. If you wanted to go live in any other country other than America, and if you chose to go to another country because of the person that was in the office, I don't think you want to live in a democracy. A democracy is where the people have a voice and everybody votes in. Because you don't like it, you do have options. You can run, you can do whatever you want to do. But in the end, if one party is doing something that's totally arbitrarily to any time in history, and I don't know if it have anything to do with this media, because everybody gets a voice. I really don't know if it has anything to do with this media that we live in. We live in times where people can pull up the truth, where people can find out the truth, where people can get access to the things that you're trying to portray out there, and as they get access to it, sometimes we got to learn to take ownership of it, and ownership means that it ain't gonna always be pretty. But what we should be proud of in this particular time, what we should be proud of is that we can get the message out there. People like myself or anybody else can get the message out there. And even if we kind of get a hint of what's going on, and if you want to do your own research, as we always encourage over here, go do your research. Do your own research. Don't just take my word for it. Go out there and look at different media sources. And one of my favorite media sources to kind of get me kicked off is Democracy Now! Now, I don't agree with everything that they say over there, but it gives me a kickstart, because as you listen to regular media, you begin to see that it's a pattern going there. Whatever the media cycle is that day, you can flip from one channel to another channel to another channel. And if you start looking at the news often enough, you'll realize that they're looking for stories. All the media sources out there are looking for stories that will grab your attention, even local news and stuff like that. If you flip from one channel to another one, a lot of times they're covering the same stuff. And as we watch it, we want to involve ourselves into. We want to know that what we're seeing is true. It doesn't matter if it comes through local media. Yeah, they have to do their research and they have to do that. But many times they find that the information that they got was wrong too, and they come back and they apologize for it. But when you can go out there and you can snatch and grab and bring somebody, because you may not look at the same media sources that I do to get my information, but that doesn't mean that you're wrong in what you thought you heard was right. But you have a chance to correct it, and that's the thing that I like about correction is for everybody. But when you get to a point, when it gets to a point where you've been deceived so bad that you make Nixon, the Watergate, look good, there's a problem. There's a problem. Because it gets to a point where they have done things, or things have been done to take your mind away from what's actually going on. And I just want to, and the real reason why I don't want to beat this horse to death, because sometimes when you ride that horse, eventually you get tired of saying the same thing. This is not a I told you show. I hope this is a healing show, because I need you to know it. Yes, it happened. This is what they should be doing. This is what your party should be doing. They should be saying, yes, it happened, but we wasn't aware of it. But too many people are trying to duck, dodge, and hide, and not get the truth to the people that need it. They try to duck, they run, they don't want to hear it. They say, oh no, this is the same story that you told last time. No, and then the other part, the flip side of that coin, it's the people that did it first, that brought it to your attention, that should have been bringing it to your attention. They never did. But then they want to call you crazy, or they want to walk over the truth, or they want to tell you, that's the past. We're looking at the future now. No. We can't continue to do that. And I'm going to tell you, I don't even want to hold you that long. I just want to apologize for having to come back out here. But I seen something that kind of explained, that took it to another level. And I see how come people are disappointed with their party. Because you had people that had access to more stuff than we ever had. They had access, inside access. They were sitting in front of these same people every day, and they was being deceived by a group of people that was around Mr. Biden. Sometimes power corrupts, because the Joe Biden that we knew was different. The Joe Biden that we wanted to be in office, I'm not saying he was perfect, but I'm saying the Joe Biden that we knew was different. He wouldn't have stood, if he was half the person that he would have never stood for that. He wouldn't have let them get away with that. He would have told his own people, listen to this.
Folks, the people of this nation have spoken. They've delivered us a clear victory, a convincing victory.
That was Joe Biden after this guy was doing a part of this. He was the one that was doing the presentation about the Joe Biden that we really wanted. That's the Joe Biden. After the election was over, Joe Biden stood up and he kind of fired everybody up. He was there. He was physically there. And then we find ourselves catching ourselves and wondering, where did that Joe Biden go? He slowly disappeared over a period of time. He slowly disappeared right before our eyes. But as he was disappearing, we never suspected anything, because people did this. This is what they did. I need you to watch this one too, because it shows you how much damage a lie can do.
Every day. There's this view out there, and you see it written as like it's fact. Oh, Biden was mentally impaired. I didn't see that. And I sat in a room with him for hours and hours. I don't know how much time any of those people spent with Biden. I know how much time I spent with him. I know what I saw.
Alex, is he just lying? Because you've detailed a lot of examples in this book where people around him saw him unable to carry out parts of the job in terms of understanding information.
That's the lie that they told. The people that seen him every day. We ask ourselves, what if? I'm gonna stop asking myself, what if? Because I can see that people made decisions that wasn't in our best interest. People made decisions that went down a whole different path. I don't even think your child would come to you and try to cover up a lie like this. It takes a certain type of people to be out there and destroy this man like they did. It takes a certain type of group of people to try to manipulate people, and what people are feeling is hurt, discouragement, and they can lumping everybody together, and that's not what this. We don't want to lump everybody together because there's some good people out there. It's some good people that's gonna take to put that party back on track. Some of those people that was around Joe Biden, and I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it because it needs to be said. If you were the vice president of the United States and you knew the condition that this man was in, and you knew it because you had staffers that was within there, or people that had access to him that knew you and him, and you still were complicit in what was going on, you deceived the American people too. But not only did you deceive us, you deceived a group of people that was standing behind you, and you did not care. Because you thought, I'm gonna say it like it's supposed to be said, because everybody else in the media ain't gonna say it. Because you thought that you was gonna be able to suppress this if you could have beat this man. Not that everybody else that was in your party believed that you even had a chance. But on the whole, everybody that was around him that was close enough to say, you know what? We should have came forward. We should have came forward before the debate and said something. Not try to clean it up now. Not try to keep your political position or whatever you was around, because he gonna call out the video that I want you to see is where he calls out everybody that was conclusive in there. He names names, and I want you to hold every one of them accountable for what happened when Joe Biden, including Kamala, just hold everybody accountable, because we didn't have a full functioning president. And it's a video at the end that I'm gonna play, because I'm gonna get off of this. I'm not gonna take a whole bunch of your time, but it's some things that you need to know in order for you to start a healing process. And I'm gonna try to give it to you right now. That's all I'm gonna do, is try to give you a healing process to know that there is hope. But we got to accept what's going on, and we can't run from what we see out there. We gotta continue going on, and this just shows you to the extent that they tried to deceive you. I need you to listen.
Town halls usually are in addition to real town halls. Joe Biden was doing neither. This fake town hall was in order to film it so they could make it into campaign commercials. They filmed it in Delaware with supporters. But Joe Biden, at this point, this is the spring of 2024, Joe Biden's town hall, which was closed to press, was so bad that campaign officials determined that it was not usable for a campaign commercial. So they took 90 minutes, 2 hours out of the president's day. They filmed an entire town hall, and they determined that it was not usable. Now,
did you see that group of media? Did you see their faces? I want to go back just a little bit so you can see their faces. Look at each person in that room right now. They're disappointed. They're deceived. These are not everyday people like ourselves. These are media personalities that covered the election. This is media personalities that went by what they were being told. Look at their faces. The ones that you can see, they're looking down, they're looking disgusted. This guy right here, the guy to the right of the lady in the white coat, he's disgusted. Because this shouldn't have really happened. This shouldn't have really happened. You really can't just make this stuff up. And that's the thing that gets me. That's the thing that gets me. They made it up. And eventually it was in a lie that they couldn't get out of. They were in a lie that they couldn't get out of. It was like our kids. As kids, we think that we can tell a lie and we can get away with it. We might get away with it for 2 or 3 days. Or somebody else might take the fault for what we did. But eventually, the truth is going to come out. The truth is going to come out. And when it comes out, I just need you to understand. You're not alone. Here's another one.
Alex, let me ask you this question. I haven't read the book, but I've seen the reporting. You guys talked to 200 plus people on the record. They were saying some staff members didn't have access to the president. Cabinet members for months didn't have access to the president. There was concern. You just stated if there was a national emergency, the president wasn't in the mental state to be able to potentially handle it, make tough decisions. If all of that is true, then who was making decisions for the country?
Well, I'd say, the president.
I want you to listen to what he was saying, because that's the exact thing that I've been saying. Who was making those decisions as the president of the president of the United States? Now, we know kind of the dates. It's all the way back to late 2021. We know something about 2021. We know that the biggest debacle was probably the debate. But can you imagine at that point if somebody would just step forward and say, not at the debate. Let's go back even further, because I want to give some credibility. Can you imagine maybe about 6 months before even when we got to a debate, somebody would step up and say, well, maybe we need to get the vice president to carry on. I'm not saying that it's how can I say it? Looking back is totally different, but it could have made for a better outcome. And I want you to listen to this guy who says, I want you to listen to each and every one of these names that he's about to call off. Each and every one of these guys that he calls off their name should never be near a president, a vice president, a secretary of state. They shouldn't even be next to somebody that's throwing a banana peel over a gate. They should never be around any of them, any of those things. Any activity that involves the United States, because them and Joe Biden's wife were the problem.
There's also the president and there's the presidency, right? And there is an infrastructure around the president that is making decisions at all times. Now, there are some decisions that always have to go up to the president. But I'm saying that in the immediate circle around that, on the national security side, you're talking Jake Sullivan, Anthony Blinken. On the political side, Mike Donilon, Steve Ricchetti. On the policy side, Bruce Reed. And then also just sort of on the schedule, personnel side.
Here's the conundrum.
No, I don't want to go to his, because this guy's going to tell you how he feels, and he was in the media. He's going to tell you how he feels, and he was truly in the media. But I'm going to go back and I want you to hear these names before every one of these guys should be held accountable for their actions. Every one of them.
Policy side, Bruce Reed, and then also just sort of on the schedule, personnel side.
Here's the conundrum.
Now, before we get, I need you to understand, this last guy that I'm about to bring on, I want to make sure I get this. I want to make sure that you hear me, because this last guy that you're about to hear from, he feels like you. But he he could access the media. He was a media person. And if they did it to him, they don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad at all. Really, don't feel bad at all. I'm just telling you, because they did it to more than just him, and he is telling you how he feels they did him. And I want you to see this. I need you to see this because it's important. It's very important that you hear this part.
For Democrats here, I get everything you're saying, Alex. I'm aware of that. When people vote for a president, yeah, they get their staffers, advisors are going to help do the job. They get that. But they also want to fundamentally know that the person that they voted for, no matter what happens at 2 a.m. call we always used to hear about, that this guy can take the call. And it's very clear from this book that Joe Biden couldn't take the call for an additional 4 years, and he probably should not have continued the remainder of his presidency.
How much engagement?
Did you see that?
5 likes.
That was the one. I didn't get a chance to edit like I wanted to on this video because it was very important that you heard it, more so than anything else. It was very important that you heard it. And that last guy is what you feel like yourself. And think about it. If he's feeling that way and he had access, that's what we wanted. We need to have somebody that was in office that could take that 2 or 3 o'clock call in the morning that something was going on in the world that was going to save us. We need to have the confidence that when that call was made, at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, that there was somebody on the other end that could act on it. Not that you had to call a whole group of people and then the decision was made. By the time all of those people got together and they made that decision, he was a president. He could have got up out of his residence, walked down the hall, and as they say in every other place that you see it, Mr. President, we have a situation. We need you to take care of it. We didn't have that person in office. Well, if we would have just thought about everything on a grander scale versus power, losing that power, we would have did something a little bit different. So I want y'all to understand that you're not out there on your own. By far, you're not out there on your own. You got somebody that understands. You got somebody that understands that
the president, there's also the president and there's the presidency, right? And there is an
president and presidency. Every guy or person that he names after this point forward should never be around anybody that's running for politics. Ever. Include, well, Jill probably would never be there again. And it's the reason why. She shouldn't be there either. Because she put the... I'm going to leave it there. Sometimes you just got... There's no use in pouring salt in the room. And I'm going to let him say it one more time, and then we're going to get out of here. I didn't want to make this long. I want to do a little short presentation and just to let you know that you're not out there by yourself. When I seen that last guy speak, that's the one that got me to know that how America feels and that you're not out there by yourself. Just listen to these guys. Whatever name he calls out, they should never be around politics ever again.
Infrastructure around the president that is making decisions at all times. Now, there are some decisions that always have to go up to the president. But I'm saying that in the immediate circle around that, on the national security side, you're talking Jake Sullivan, Anthony Blinken. On the political side, Mike Donilon, Steve Ricchetti. On the policy side, Bruce Reed. And then also just sort of on the schedule, like personnel side.
Here's the conundrum for Democrats here. I get everything you're saying, Alex.
And this is how you should feel. And this is the way everybody feels in America. They feel like they was deceived. They were taken. They were led around. Just basically led like a child. You don't want your party to lead you like a child. You want your party to lead you to a better place. A better place. Not deceive you. Not lie to you. Not do any of that. But help you get to a point where you can understand that party was not doing things for the betterment They wasn't doing things for the betterment of the United States of America. They was doing for the betterment of them. And power just corrupted them to no point. And I'm going to let you hear this because when I heard it, it was important enough for me to get on the air and tell you, you're not the only one that feels like this. But we got to find a place to go after we hear this.
I'm aware of that. When people vote for a president, yeah, they get their staffers, advisors are going to help do the job. They get that. But they also want to fundamentally know that the person that they voted for, no matter what happens at 2 a.m. call we always used to hear about, that this guy can take the call. And it's very clear from this book that Joe Biden couldn't take the call for an additional 4 years, and he probably should not have continued the remainder of his presidency.
How much engagement?
That's how much we was received. So with that being said, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to inform you. I'm going to share as much of this knowledge with you. I'm getting better. I got my sound a little bit better. And I'm going to peak it a little bit because it's probably a little bit too much gain in there. But that's okay. We're going to get better with it. Just like we're going to get better as a country. I need you to know that whatever happened in the past, whatever they're running from, it happened. Those things happen. There ain't nothing that we can do about it now. We can talk about it. We talk about it to learn from it. That's the reason why I share it with you. We had a show last night. And I'm going to tell you, up until this election is over with, the next election cycle, you're going to deal with this. But what you have to be able to do is go in there and make a decision on the best person that can do the job, the only best person that can do the job in your local area or anywhere else. Please don't ever forget to get out and get the vote. Most of all, you need to know that that's all times, and every time, all times and every time. You got to, your vote matters. Your vote matters. We need to have the truth. We need to have the truth. Sometimes the truth is hard. We need to have a balance of justice. We need to have a balance where when we go out there, we know that we're voting for somebody that's got our best interests at heart, and everybody in their family has their best interests at heart. And we got to know that the world centers around a balance. This scale that you're looking at here, it's a balance. If you put something on the left-hand side, it's going to pull all the way down. If you put something on the right-hand side, it's going to pull the other way. But if you put just a little bit of weight on both sides of them, it holds a balance. And that's what we're looking for in our government between the Democrats and Republicans. We're not looking for either one of them to be perfect. We're looking for one of them to just step up and hold that balance. Just hold that balance. Telling lies is not holding a balance. Telling lies is kind of like you doing what you want to do. You're not worried about what nobody else says. You know what's best for our country, and that's not true. And I think you did Joe Biden a disservice by doing that to him, because everybody, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to leave you with one last thing. And then I'm going to be out of here.
Folks, the people of this nation have spoken. They've delivered us a clear victory, a convincing victory.
That was the Joe Biden that everybody wanted to hear. That was Joe Biden. He was all there. He knew what was going on around him. He didn't have to have nobody else come up and make a decision for him. That's the Joe that I want you to remember, because those other people disgraced him. They made a mockery of his time, his legacy, and that includes his family members. Hold them accountable too, because they knew, and they were complacent. I'm gonna get away from it now. I'm gonna get away from this. I'm gonna try to stay away from this subject from this day forward. But it's going to all come back. It's going to all point back to this till they pull the Band-Aid. And that's all I can say. I hope you have a good evening. Thanks for listening to me. If you took the time to just tune in, I can't go down this road no more because I'm hurt too. I'm hurt too because we were deceived. I can't go down here. Thank you. I'm going to say thank you, thank you, thank you. But most of all, you know, even though we went down this road, we got something that's more powerful than Joe Biden, that Trump, and everybody else. We got a God that's taking care of us. And fall down on your knees and pray. Pray, pray. That's all I can tell you. Fall down on your knees and pray. Because we may have 4 years of I don't know what you want to call it, but if you pray, you're going to be all right because you know it's only 4 years. Let him get his time. And hopefully if we vote the right way and we get out and vote in the primaries and we get out there and vote and we get a good candidate up there, we won't have to go through this. They're going to have to do a lot of work if they win. But there's a brighter side somewhere. It's a song that was out there. I'm going to tell you good night, good night, good night, good night. Thanks for taking your time. I told you I wasn't going to be here that long. I went over 2 minutes longer than I wanted to. Y'all have a good one. And remember that report. That reporter told your story for you. He said he was deceived and he didn't know how to, he doesn't know how to take it either. Just accept it and we're going to move on from there. Good night.